thinking about it.
Welcome back to Packernet. JJ Lahey, Ryan Schlipp, and of course, Jake Schyvinck. Nobody's on the live stream yet. Because we're only like 4 seconds into it, but
The heck.
That's what happens when you take stuff off. The intros get a little, it happens.
Reminds me of that Dr. Pepper Fansville commercial where it's an incomplete pass and everybody's just like losing their minds and tearing down all the I thought this was supposed to be our year. And then the lady with like the huge spread of food, she's like, I slaved over this all day. And then the guy's like, guys, it was the first play of the game. Oh yeah, maybe we overreacted.
Yeah, the dude was burning all his stuff. Yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty good analogy.
I made a change this week that I think is going to help the Packers significantly.
Yes.
I cut about 5 inches off my beard. So anybody who does watch the live stream, or if you're listening on the podcast, go find the replay on our YouTube, on our Facebook page. It's a good excuse for me to get you guys to go subscribe to YouTube and Facebook. Follow us. What's up, Goose? Who says Pack to the Future?
Goose is in the house.
Yeah. Now I notice also the JJ pay counter is only at $1.67.
We're off and running.
We can get that going.
That's got to be the earliest call.
Now that we got people in here, let me just say, getting a little light down there with the JJ pay counter.
Oh man.
Now, Ryan, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Am I supposed to be able to see somewhere in this view how many people are on? Because I don't see it anywhere.
I think I'm the only one that can see it.
How many we got on?
75.
Just Goose?
No, I'm just
75.
No, it's not anywhere near that. I just don't want to say.
If they knew we were going,
it's Goose. It's Goose, and that's it. All right. So a lot of time when we are planning this show, this live stream, what's up going on, Garrett? Hopefully we're seeing Rocky Mountain High after Sunday. Yeah, we're like 1-6 at Mile High Stadium. Did you know that?
I did see that. I was all excited because I was looking at our history against Denver. I'm like, we kind of kicked the crap out of them. And then I looked at in Denver, and it's like, oh, we don't ever beat them in Denver. That sucks. Look at Goose.
Yes, Goose.
Oh, now I got to do a Canadian conversion to figure out how much JJ gets.
Oh, man.
279. You know what? I think the Canadian conversion is just put that all on JJ's tab.
Yeah. All right. We'll figure it out.
Sure.
So a lot of the time we plan these out. And we actually will even have a vote on what topics we want to cover and like even sort of what order. And we didn't do that today. So I wrote Ryan a book a couple days ago. I sent him like the longest DM ever talking about like, hey, like as a community of Packers content creators, I think we're missing the mark right now.
It's $2, Garrett.
By like the team is not playing well. They lost to one of the worst teams in football. And I think that we as Packers content creators are supposed to be a little bit of an escape from like the crappy team. Because a lot of the time, Packers football is an escape for a lot of people from like their crappy week. And so it made me feel good that we do this live stream, which is all about nonsense and ridiculousness and having fun. Because I think that that's what the Packers fan base needs right now, is just to kick back and relax and have some positivity. Even if we do lose again in the house of horrors that is Mile High Stadium to the team that coughed up 70 points to the Miami Dolphins, I think that there's still a lot of fun and enjoyment to be had from sitting down and watching a freaking football game. So thank you, gentlemen, for doing this episode with me. And Too Old for This, thank you. He says, I think the conversion on those Canadian dollars is the same as Stanley Nickels to Shroot Bucks, which is the same as unicorns to leprechauns.
Too Old for This is my hero with the Office references.
I know. It's like
so
he's
good.
Almost like the fourth member of Packernet Derailed. Because we keep not doing the Office references, and it clearly needs to be a thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. So
by the way, sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but when JJ sent that to me, I thought that was a very, very good idea. The only issue is I didn't exactly know how best to do that, as far as how do we make this a fun place to be while at the same time having a conversation about what is pretty horrible. So if you're hanging out in the comment section, you got some thoughts, please send it along, because I like the idea, but I am currently with zero ideas as to how to do that. But I know it can be done, and I look forward to it, because I think we're all getting a little gloomy, and especially doing 2 podcasts a day where I talk about, hey, everything sucks, and then I do a call-in show and everybody calls in and says everything sucks, and I'm like, yeah, dude, totally, things suck. It kind of gets to wear on you a little bit.
Well, and I even made the point to you, like, I don't want to be like fake. Like, I'm not all in on the hey, everything the players say and do is right, and like we're always gonna side with them, no matter what. Like, no, man, like I'm all for like calling out some BS when there's some BS. But okay, here's the thing. So Jair this past week was ragging on the offense and saying like, hey, maybe they need me to come over there and start playing for them on offense if they can't move the ball themselves. And the first reaction that I saw on social media was actually pretty similar to the first thing that like just popped into my head, which is like, dude, like maybe you shouldn't be running your mouth because you have been playing some pretty sucky football right now. But then I thought about it more, and I said, Jair is one of our superstar players. He's supposed to be one of the big leaders of the team. If Jair is not going to call out the offense for being incompetent, who is? Like, these guys need to hold themselves to that higher standard. So I don't know. I think it is kind of funny to think about Jair going out there and playing on offense. We got like 5 weeks worth of memes last year about Keyshawn Nixon wanting to play wide receiver. And then, by the way, he actually played a snap or two at running back. And I don't know. It was kind of fun to watch. I don't know. Is there a way that we should be working Jair in on offense? I mean, he's pretty speedy and shifty. I don't know about maybe wide receiver.
He also was a punt returner in college.
He was.
He did a lot of returning. Maybe things aren't going too good with Keyshawn right now. Let's spice it up a little bit. Let's put him back there for kick returns, punt returns, see what he can do.
Seems like in college when you see defensive players playing offense, most of the time it's like they go be, the opposite player of what they normally are. Like you'll get a, defensive end comes in and plays fullback, or corner comes and plays wide receiver. It's kind of, doing the job that, you're basically the same body type. Linebackers playing tight end. Shout out to Cade Stover at Ohio State.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, Jair, slot corner in college, maybe a slot receiver here for the Packers. I don't know.
I just keep going back to when Jair said that. I was just thinking, like, man, he's really trying to play himself onto the 2028 flag football team. That's the first thing. That's the first area that my mind went when he said that. But I mean, I also go back to like, because I'm looking. All week I was going through the offense and looking at stuff. I'm like, all right, it's just like everybody. The execution just is all 11 executing is rare. And for a young team, it is going to be rare. But I go back to that Keyshawn Nixon reverse toss that they ran against the Saints. I'm thinking like, you know what? There's like something about like, hey, we talked a long time about, what's the Irvin role in the offense, right? We love that little section of time where Tyler Irvin was, working horizontally in the offense and delivering some big plays.
We spent more time talking about who was going to replace Irvin now that he was gone than he actually spent playing the Irvin role.
Exactly. You're right. That's right. We really grappled.
We really wanted that to be a thing so bad.
We did. We did.
It was cool and it worked.
It was.
Yeah, it was cool.
I have no idea why they cut him. Seriously.
But like,
by the way, sorry. I was just going to say, shout out to Mike. It's been a while. $2 super chat. Thank you so much. He says, who's the most overrated Packer player right now?
I definitely want to come back to that question. I think we could go
I have an answer
kind of a while on that. But before we get to that, we got to put a bow on this Keyshawn Nixon, Jair Alexander, Tyler Irvin role. But we'll get to
Ty Montgomery. Can he be Montgomery? A little bit, little Montgomery, little Irvin, a little bit of both. You know, spice it up. I mean, if Jones is not able to carry the load per se, let's because if obviously he's dealt with injury already this year. If that happens again, and it's like, all right, well, Dylan, we're finding a little bit of something in the run game, which was nice. It was the Raiders, but it should happen again this week. But if you need to find a little bit of a spark, maybe get Nixon a little bit of a chance back there, because they're lacking. They've got the big bodies. I know Wilson's really good when he gets about right to that second level. Yeah, once he gets that second level and he's like got some room to operate. That breakaway
speed.
Yeah, he's gone. But do we have anybody who can take advantage, of those first 3 to 5 yards and like, oh, I've turned a 3-yard gain into 12? Like, we not really outside of Jones, right? So it would be great to have somebody else who could do that.
And it kind of is Keyshawn Nixon's skill set. Like, he's kind of a crummy slot corner, but like when he's returning kicks, he's got that nice vision, sees the hole, hits it, very decisive.
Yeah.
I don't know why he couldn't carry the ball for us.
A little surprised they haven't given Jaden Reed an opportunity to do some more interesting stuff.
Yeah, because he's
great point.
Stocky, got some good, good body to him that Christian Watson doesn't have. He's not that same lanky, thin.
He can turn a little quicker than Watson can.
And he's got the punt returning stuff as well, right?
Exactly.
Like he's also done that. So he's also got that ability to like, all right, I see a lot what's going on in front of me, right? I can one cut and go. I can do all these things to return or so. Yeah, I agree. I think they don't have to. They don't have to go like extremely positionless. Like, we're not talking like, hey, we need to be the Atlanta Falcons or something from last year or anything. But like giving some of these offensive players who have some explosiveness and then maybe working them in, to run game, whether it's perimeter or not. I'm not talking about that shovel play. No, absolutely not. No more of that. That play stinks. Throw it out. Right. But like something else where you can get guys the ball quickly, or just even put them in the backfield. Right. If we're going to commit to gun run still, it's just not Dylan's thing. And we know it isn't. Right. Like, that's just not his thing. So having somebody else back there besides Jones who can operate, if they're going to stick with some gun run stuff, I mean, you got to look at all the options.
Yeah, Dylan running under center is a different beast.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I like this. I think there's a lot worse ideas out there. For example, Joe Barry puts worse ideas out there every single week, and like, that's permissible.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you think Blake Corum could be that guy, Jake? Yes. I had to bring it up.
Yes.
What's going on with Blake Corum this year, by the way? Like,
I think he's been fine.
He's still really good.
He's been fine.
He's still really good, but like,
he's been fine.
But like, I'm comparing him to himself.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I don't know.
He's been really good. But
he's been good. Yeah.
He was otherworldly a year ago.
He was. I don't know how much that injuries bothered him. I know he's had a couple of them. It's hard to say. We never know because everything's different for everybody. I will say, though, I think a lot of people were expecting Edwards to break out. That has not happened. Oh, man.
No, I said,
it hasn't happened at all.
Last year. I thought Donovan Edwards was going to be like, hey, look, Blake Corum was great, but like, I'd rather draft Donovan Edwards.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at him. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I was smoking, because Blake Corum is like clearly the better running back.
Everybody sees that breakaway speed and they go, yes. That in an offense where you can one cut and go, we've got it. We've done it. And it's like, all right, well, he's probably going to Miami then. That's fine. He can do that, right?
Exactly.
That's fine. He'll just go there. We'll have to worry about him once every, couple of years or whatever, depending on
Miami has like 10,000 running backs though right now. Like,
they do.
Devon Achane, Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert, the other guy that I didn't get in fantasy, who just is blowing
Ahmed.
up. Yep. I did get him. Yeah. Salvon Ahmed. Yeah. I did get him.
Everybody wants to slice.
They have a stable.
They do.
They really do.
But they might not stop. They might not stop, like, honestly. But it would, I think Corum has been solid this year. I don't think it's been otherworldly, but were you expecting him to grade in that ridiculous range again?
Yeah,
probably not.
I was.
You were?
I was.
That's fair.
Because
that's fair.
Like, when I watched him play, he just felt so inevitable. Just watching him, it was just like, there's just nothing you can do, man. Like,
so ludicrously quick in the short area. It's not
so good.
It's not fair. No, but he's been good. I would like him to do that.
I hate Michigan, but like,
no, that's fair. Yeah,
it's a love-hate. Like, I'm like, oh, you really like you on the Packers. Oh, I hate you.
I always felt like Blake Corum when I watched him was the guy that, like, in realistic terms, it's probably not going to translate as well. But I still love watching the guy play. You know, he's a tiny shifty. Like he's just that guy that you want to believe is real, and you want to believe that you can just take him and put him on an NFL team and get that same thing. He might be a little tiny and it might not exactly translate, but he is about as fun to watch as any running back that I've seen play.
It might work perfectly with Dylan.
Yeah.
Who's the last,
it's
like college superstar running back who translated to the NFL? Has there been anybody since Christian McCaffrey?
Well, someone's doing it right now.
You talking about Bijan? Like I don't think he's college Bijan. He had a couple really great weeks.
Well, we could dive into the little subtleties of running that Bijan may not do as well. We might be getting off the rails a little bit, but yeah, superstar.
Like, McCaffrey was like a god in college, and he's been better in the pros.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like Saquon was not that. Zeke was not that.
Gurley did it for a little while, but
for a season
until he got hurt. Yeah.
Derrick Henry.
Right.
Yeah.
Took him a little while, but he got there.
Yeah.
We probably should hit Mike's comment now. Who's the most overrated Packer player right now? And it's a good thing that he's specified player, because otherwise I had a different direction I was going to take it. But he said player, so.
Did you want to go coach? Is that the
I think there's a really overrated coach.
Okay.
I mean, you can start with that if you want. There's no rules on this show.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, we can change anything we want.
Do whatever we want.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we hold Jerry Montgomery up as like this fantastic D-line coach, and like then we turn around. You can't criticize Jerry Montgomery. You can't criticize Kenny Clark, but yet the defensive line is terrible, and we're always frustrated about it constantly. Right. But you can't criticize either of those two guys who are the position coach, and like he's literally the run defense coordinator.
Well, there's that as well. Yes, there is that.
And then Kenny's like he's the highest paid guy in that line.
I feel like that's just a title.
And we
don't actually have one of those. It's like someone has to hold it. All right, I'm gonna pull names out of a hat. Whoever gets this run defense coordinator title, you just have it. It's like nobody's like that worried about. I mean, it's just unfortunately not what the defense is, and this is not how they play. And I'm not gonna go off track, but I want to get to something on the defensive line later, but. JJ, if you got a player, you should definitely go the player direction as well.
Well, I have a player, but since I already went, I want to let you guys
go ahead, Jay, because I'm kind of torn.
I mean, there's low hanging fruit that I don't think we have to address. I mean, Garrett's put in the comments a couple times. Like right now, it probably is Jair, but I will say, the amount of people that kind of talked up a certain receiver. That has played in every game this year. I don't know. It just depends on, I guess, I guess it just depends on how you view him, right? If you viewed him in the light of like, oh, he's the wide receiver 2, no doubt about it. It's going to get way better. Like if you were in that camp, then I think you have to go that route with talking about who's overrated right now, because I don't think he's delivering where he needs to be. I think Wicks looks a heck of a lot better. I'm a little ashamed of myself that I didn't say Wicks instead of Reed to be the 2 when we did that, like, driving the bus type of thing. That would have been a really nice call back then. But man, he's just like, when you watch Wicks, he's just always open. Like it's just,
I did see the video you did. It was pretty fantastic. That was great to see him open all the time.
It just is like, and I know it's like, maybe he's not always the first read, right? So he's going to be open. There'll be times where it's like, oh, well, they're not going this direction. That's not the point of the play, but it's like, man, when it comes to like, I don't know how high he is in the yards per route run against man and whatnot, because he just doesn't get targeted. But like the success rates, pretty impressive. I think he's getting better against zone coverage, right? And I just think like when you look at the expectations for him, they're super low. So we like him a lot. For Dobbs, it just feels like it was super high. And I know, and that's a great comment, that Adams had a worse performance in year 2. I just feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm on the island on this. I don't feel like Dobbs dropped a ton of passes in college, and he's dropped a lot more in the NFL. And I'm not sure what's happening there. I'm not quite sure.
Well, drops was definitely a thing for him a year ago. He has less than 1 drop a game. He's got 4 drops in 5 games, and 2 of those drops came against New Orleans.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
According to his PFF grades, Vegas was his only bad game of the year. And I will just say, I even called it to Packernet After Dark about this during the offseason. I was not enamored with what he did last year.
It was fine.
Like Romeo and Toure were the 2 guys that I kept ragging on this past offseason. And I think, like, I get frustrated watching the offense with Dobbs and feeling like I don't really know what value he serves on a lot of plays because he doesn't get targeted very much. And I was really expecting him to kind of be that chain mover, not that he would be Allen Lazard, but he would receive like about the amount of action that Allen Lazard did. And I feel like when they do target him, it doesn't feel like it's been very valuable targets.
Yeah, that's the one thing, right? He's a singles and doubles type of player. He's not really the home run type. I know he had the big one against the Saints, which was huge to kind of spark the comeback. But yeah, he's been definitely
sub 50% on contesting catches, 44%. Yeah. He's had actually 3 interceptions when targeted. So that's I'm not really sure where to go with that.
Well,
his passer rating when targeted in week 1 was a 127, and it has dropped every single week. So 127, 99, 60, 58. And then if you thought, well, it's going to go up after that. Like, it's not going to go lower than 58. 2.8. 2.8 passer rating when targeted against
That's not
Vegas.
Ideal. Yeah, that's not ideal. I mean, obviously, the interceptions against Vegas were kind of on one guy. Really wasn't. It wasn't like the Detroit one where it's like the tip pass, like, was the Detroit see the play coming, right? Was that, was it all kind of laid in there? Like the picks in Vegas were definitely on 10. I will say I get it that that Dobbs hasn't even played 17 games. I get it, but I think like we took the hype from the year 1 from a day 3 pick, which again Green Bay's done well on day 3, but I think we're trying to make it more than it is, right? Like I don't know. I'm just not sitting here and saying like, when you look at every receiver on the roster, who looks the cleanest and looks the most effective at the line of scrimmage, right? When it's, even if it's cover 2, right? Guys are going to be contacting you. Like who looks the cleanest right now? And I just feel like he doesn't look as clean. And again, to Watson's credit, Watson's big and fast. It's very difficult for people to handle in that way. But like, I just feel like Wicks looks more prepared and more effective in a lot of those scenarios. And then the top of the route, I think, is the same thing. So again, I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to reach for other things, right? We said the low-hanging fruit was Alexander. For me, it's just relative to what I've seen the expectations, at least in social media with analysts in the Packer sphere. That's where I'm at. I'm not saying he's bad, which is, again, probably some people might take that from this. I'm sure some people will run with that, but like, I don't know. I just, for what the expectations people had, that's where I'm at right now.
All right, Ryan, we gave you a lot of time to think. Who's your guy?
Yeah, I ranted.
I think I'm going to go with Elton Jenkins, actually. He has been deemed as like an elite player since the day he came to Green Bay. And I don't know that he ever really has been. He's played 2 full years, his first 2 years, and he graded out his average. In 2021 was the only year he had a really good grade, and he played about a third of a season. And then 2022 he came back, and he graded out okay. He played most of the season. But really, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 good games all year. Other than that, he was pretty bad. And actually, his pass blocking grade was in the 60s, so it was average. And right now, his 3 games, all at left guard the whole time, and yes, he's had a little bit of an injury, 61, 65, 59. He hasn't had a good run blocking grade or good pass blocking grade one game this year. So I think I know he's had it tough with injuries and he's been bouncing around left guard, right tackle, left tackle. But I mean, I think we got to stop calling him an elite football player until he starts proving that that's what he is, aside from just some occasional, I don't want to call it necessarily fluky, but I mean, if you're going to have 5 good games a year and give us about a half a year of play every year, I don't know that that's necessarily top tier elite play. So I'm going to kind of just take a step back and say I'll believe it when I see it with Elton Jenkins, I think.
Well, that was dark.
Honestly, I think it would be interesting to see it, like if whoever has time, maybe I'll take a peek. We'll see. To look at like every game that he's played and just like, okay, pick out the elite games and like just kind of gloss over, be like, all right, who are they against? Like where are we getting the elite stuff? Where are the bad games coming in? And if it's like, kind of like the, oh, he's just dominating bad defensive tackles and good defensive tackles are giving him problems like that. I mean,
he kicked the crap out of Aaron Donald like 3 times.
He did,
so
yes.
There is that.
This is true.
Injured Aaron Donald, but yeah. When he broke his ribs, right?
Oh yeah. So here's.
Oh yeah, he was. It was questionable that week.
Yeah,
right?
he wasn't supposed to play.
Right.
That was 2022, wasn't it?
That was the playoffs, I think.
Wasn't it the playoff game?
Yeah, 2022. We played him. No, we played in the playoffs 21. Yeah.
20. Right. Well, 2021,
no,
I guess. The calendar year 2021 playoffs. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. 2020 season.
2021.
Yeah.
So I was waffling.
Get a 64 grade in that game.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, he did.
62 run blocking, 63 pass blocking.
Oh wow, yeah. That's wild.
He had 3 good games that whole year.
Oh, he had a really good game against Tampa, though.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay. Well,
Tampa, San Francisco, and Detroit were his 3 good games that year. So figure that one out.
Sweet. Makes no sense. Perfect.
Nope. Were they all in the same position? Left guard, all of them?
Detroit
left guard,
was center.
Left guard and center.
So
that's what Detroit. He played all year, though, was left guard and center.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Billy Turner from mine because even though he hasn't been with us for a while, I hate him and I hate hearing about him. And I have kicked Samori Toure around enough. And I kicked around Patrick Taylor until Gutekunst cut him so that Matt LaFleur would quit playing him on freaking 4th down. So I'm going Billy Turner, who is just the worst. And I still wake up ticked off about him, even though he's not been in the team in a while. So,
wow.
Somebody the other day was talking about like, oh man, wish we still had Billy Turner. Like that's what our offensive line needs. And I'm like, yeah, they also need a 3rd hole in their head.
Billy Turner.
I feel like it got darker right there.
He really was like because the team and Aaron Rodgers loved him so much. And they constantly played him. And so I would make comments like he's really bad. Nobody would believe me. And then ESPN came out there, their BS pass blocking thing and said he was like the 3rd best, which was, I mean, if you look at their ranking, it was a bunch of morons on their whole list. But it's like I couldn't convince anybody. Wasn't it one of our guys?
Rick frickin' Wagner.
Ricky Wagner. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Rick Wagner.
That's right. So I couldn't.
Yes,
it just Wagner, fell on deaf ears. Nobody would believe me.
Top 10 pass blocking NFL tackle here in 2021.
ESPN's grades and stats are the dumbest thing in the world. I just immediately
open score, so good, by the way.
So dumb,
so good. Yeah.
Here's what I like ESPN for, because there is something I love. They give you live stats during the game, any game. I do love that.
That is nice.
It's like the only purpose they serve, and also I like their fantasy app, but that's it. Other than the live stats during the game, which if there's any other site that you guys know of that does that, I'll happily use that. But I do love that you can go check, and I mean they keep it like basically real time stats constantly during the game, so that's cool.
Yeah, it went real well. Too old for this, says Aaron Rodgers wanted Billy Turner to protect him in New York. See how that went?
Yeah. Now he didn't actually play though, isn't he? Wasn't he hurt? He wasn't out in the field in that snap. Was
thought he was, because maybe he wasn't. He might not have, because I remember he was going to play, and I made all kinds of comments to Jets fans like, "Oh, I thought he was just a backup. What happened to that?"
He only played in week 5.
Week 5, okay.
Oh wait, hang on. Nope.
So he lost his job.
I clicked on Billy Turner, and it pulled up his receiving page. Apparently he had a. Apparently he ran a route in week 5. I don't know.
Ew.
That's sick.
Yeah, week 3 and week 5 he played.
That's sick.
He had 1 snap in week 3, 6 in week 5, and apparently one of them he ran a route or something.
Whew.
He must have like recovered a fumble or something. That's I don't know. How else would you get sick on their receiving page?
Did Rodgers call that play? Rodgers said that and be like, "Listen, I know you guys probably saw that one to Bach last year, but like, trust me,
we got
this for Billy. We can do this, man. We can."
Now, for me, one of the things, like, I know that guys, Rasul Douglas is an example of this. Devondre Campbell is an example of this. I know that guys can like suck somewhere and then go elsewhere and be good. But whenever we pick a guy up and I go see like what his former fan base was saying when he got cut, it's usually a pretty darn good indicator of like what you're going to get out of him. And, when Billy Turner got signed by the Packers, I remember looking at the Broncos Reddit, and it was like, hallelujah, Jesus has come early and freed us from the torment of watching Billy Turner, screen door Billy, go out there and phone it in on the field. And like, I don't know. I feel like it kind of lived up to that a lot of the time. I know Coach Hahn, dear friend of ours, really loved watching Billy Turner play, but that's the one area I just never could get on board with.
He must have been doing something that was just amazing, because the coaches and everybody loved the guy, but stats are stats, and he gave up like twice as many pressures and sacks and hits as everybody else on our team.
Yeah, combined.
Yeah. Yep. It was ridiculous.
Too Old for This says, I love how Tyler Ervin is officially a position in the Matt LaFleur offense.
Yeah, man.
I will say, Tyler Ervin is officially a position in the Packers fan offense. Matt LaFleur does not seem keen to use it anymore.
He couldn't care less.
I think all three of us, though, if we were running Matt LaFleur's offense, I think we would be like, come on, who is going to be our Tyler Ervin? And then like Matt LaFleur would be like, you mean like returning punts?
No, just the jet motion guy every play.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you mean the Christian Watson role?
Yeah, right.
Like, no. Then who's winning downfield, coach?
Yeah. He goes that way.
Yeah,
I want someone to go this way.
Yeah. No, listen, Matt. For Christian Watson, you got to call the Megatron plays. Okay, call Megatron plays for Christian Watson, and then for Jaden Reed, you got to call Tyler Ervin plays. You understand?
Simple.
And Wicks is Adams, so you can. Yeah.
There you go. You got it.
And let's put the ball in Aaron Jones's hands every single snap of the game.
Yeah, and then just give it to Jones. Here's what you do with these receivers, and then don't throw it to him.
Yeah.
Here are your options.
Yeah.
Throw
Enough with the second quarter throwing. Aaron Jones. Okay. He's got like no rushes in that quarter, coach. What are we doing?
Your options are throw it to Aaron Jones, run it with Aaron Jones, or run it with Jordan Love. Take your pick, Matt.
I like it. We got to add Corbin to that for sure.
I don't know, man. I got a cool shovel pass play we can run to Patrick Taylor. We called him up from the practice squad just for this game.
Those went so good.
It's my only play listed under 4th and long.
Yeah. No,
screen to Patrick Taylor.
Critical 4th down situations. Get Patrick Taylor out there.
He's taking the tush push play. You're pushing him.
Dylan, out of there. Let's go. Guy that's played 4 snaps with us. Get out there. By the way, you're
Dylan's
got to
do the
and
pushing.
throw on this pass, on this play.
So I like Matt LaFleur, and I certainly am not anywhere on like, hey, we got to talk about moving on from Matt. I'm not there. But I will say, Matt LaFleur is not my guy. Brian Gutekunst is my guy. Brian Gutekunst was watching these stinking Patrick Taylor play calls. And Matt's like, well, they just weren't working. And Brian's like, I don't care. He's off the team because I don't want to see you use him ever again. Pick any other player on the freaking roster and throw the ball to them on 4th down, not Patrick Taylor.
That's Gutekunst not overstepping his bounds. Like, I'm not going to tell you who you can play on this team. However, he's off the team.
Yo, it's like Moneyball. Yeah, it's like Moneyball. It's like, you can't play Pena at first. It's like, I can. It's like, no, he plays for Detroit now. It's like, you can't have Patrick Taylor on 4th down. Yeah, I can. I'm coaching. He's like, no, we cut him. Cut him 2 hours ago.
I would never tell you who you can't play on this team.
Guy you can't play.
Yeah. But here's Justin Hollins.
Oh man, being at that game where Taylor was not on the same page with Love on that 4th and short against the Saints was just like, man, that play is also ingrained in my head. That's a tough one to look back on.
I think I've finally come full circle on running backs. And even like this season, on this live stream show, I've been kind of all over the place a bit. And like, it's been a journey for me with running backs. Cause like, yeah, rushing is not that valuable. Like, your run game is not that valuable compared to your pass game. But like, I've always been a running back guy. And it's always bugged me when we had running backs I didn't believe in. There was a guy that we got. He had been with Detroit. I think it was Demaria Crockett or somebody. It wasn't him. But there was this guy that we had who was averaging like one yard per carry for his career.
Yeah.
And we had like no running backs who could go. And I think that it was Jamal and then this guy were the 2 active running backs for a game.
It's just like 18.
It's 2019. I'm still ticked off about it.
Okay. You got it. I looked. I'm looking right now. By the way, that was very funny what you said. I think it was Demaria Crockett, but it was not. It was good. I liked that.
It was a Demaria Crockett.
I liked that a lot.
Trey Carson?
Yeah, that's who it was.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Trey Carson, TRA was how you spelled his name.
Oh, yes. Okay, now I'm familiar because of the way it's spelled.
I was so mad because I wanted to use Tyler Ervin for that game. This is before Tyler Ervin was a thing.
Yeah.
We had him, but like, I was looking at Trey Carson and I was like, I know why they're playing him. It's because of his pass pro. But the guy has like we've handed him the ball like 3 times this year and he fumbled one of them. And he's got like 1 yard per carry on his career. Like, I don't care about the pass pro. Get him out of here. Play Tyler Ervin. I was so mad. I'm still mad about it. And it was 4 years ago.
That's
a meaningless game.
That is one of the tougher trade-offs, I feel like, at the running back position. That is a tough thing to. If you trust your offensive line, you're fine. Like, if you're Detroit, you don't have to worry about Jahmyr Gibbs and pass pro. Like, you don't care. He's out of here. We're running routes. Like, there's no problem. But if you have, I don't know, if you got Washington's offensive line where Howell's taking sacks because it's him, but like, if you have the Giants offensive line right now, it's like, we gotta have a man in here or 5 like to help these guys out. So it's like, it's so hard to trade off where you're like, we want this super dynamic guy to catch the ball out of the backfield, but it's like, man, our right tackle is killing us right now. He's gave up 7 pressures in the first half. Got to have a guy out there. It's a tough thing.
What's that?
That's the one thing I do not envy being
out running
there.
Out there. 30 personnel. What? They got
32.
32 personnel.
32, man.
and
it's a zero-man concept.
Protect.
Yeah.
Nobody is running a route.
Right.
All they're doing is just Daniel Jones
the
standing back there,
surviving.
10 guys covering.
Is this like a 15-minute play call? Like, we're running the clock out, right? Like, this is max protect with everybody. It's like, you're not getting back there. I'll run around like I do in Madden for 15 minutes when I got the lead. Yeah. Like, that's the
I wonder how long you could milk that. Like.
I think somebody's done that. At least not Madden. somebody's done that for sure.
Who's currently the best rushing quarterback out there? I mean, I think it's.
I mean, it's got to be
Tyler.
I know last year it was actually Patrick Mahomes was actually the best rushing quarterback in football last year, but I don't think that's true this year.
I don't think he's got
Tyler Dershel
back there.
Heck yeah.
There we go.
Appreciate
also,
hold
on a minute. We have to go back to this for a second because I remember it coming up. JJ goes, "I'm such a Goody guy over a LaFleur guy." If you said that 3 years ago, man, you would have to find a place to hide. Like there's nobody out there.
Followed me around on Twitter.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like,
I mean, like
3 years ago,
hates me
people have been like,
because I say stuff like that always.
What did you say?
And everybody hates it, and I don't back down from it until I'm presented evidence that shows, no, that was a bonehead thing to say. People hate me, but not Tyler Dershel because he dropped a $5 super chat.
Woo!
So this is for the JJ Fund. Any word on O-line shuffling for this week? I haven't heard anything. Have you guys?
No. I kind of hope not because I would assume that means we got a bunch more injury, which it seems like we're more injured now after the bye.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Than before the bye.
Where are we going on the bye week, man? Where are people going on the bye week right now?
So it was like Jair was healthy, and then he got hurt, and then he didn't practice. Like, wait. He got hurt just now. Like this just happened. That's great. Okay, cool.
I think Jair took everybody on a team building base jumping trip.
Yeah, exactly.
Shoot, they went up to Door County again, didn't they? Gosh darn it. That's the off season thing, man. Oh man. I think Mike brought it up earlier regarding injuries, right? How did Josh get hurt? Did he stretch the oblique a little bit, blocking the field goal? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what his injury is. I haven't found it.
What's his knee? I don't know. I mean, I don't
maybe
know
he landed funny after blocking that field goal. Who knows?
Well, he was fine Wednesday, Thursday. He just popped up on Friday.
Oh man.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet. Love.
All right.
The late.
So I think we can put a bow on the most overrated player thing.
Oh wow. Yeah. You're right. You're probably right. That's good.
And we did Billy Turner to death. We did a bunch of Tyler Irvin. So too old for this says Kirk Cousins by far best rushing quarterback. Speaking of Kirk Cousins, I saw somebody. It was probably NFL memes or somebody, but somebody put on Twitter, who's the least clutch quarterback in the NFL right now? So Kirk Cousins was one of the options. Justin Herbert was an option. I'm trying to think who the other two were. Did either you guys see that?
No, I didn't see it. Doesn't Herbert have like T3 in game-winning drives since he came to the NFL?
Jones and Dak Prescott are the other two.
Ooh.
Like Justin Herbert is like, he's always been my guy at quarterback, but like, I don't know, he doesn't have that clutch gene, that's for sure. I don't know if it's still true, but like for forever, like he'd already been in LA for like 3 years, and it was still a true statement that he had never ever been a plus 500 quarterback. Like no team he had been on had ever been plus 500.
It's also the Chargers. They love to find out, like, all right, has anybody ever done this and lost? It's like, no? Okay, we're doing it. We're doing it right now. Let's try it. Can we? They did something week 1 against Miami, and they like, and Tennessee, there was something too. It's like they have, I don't know what, through 2 weeks, there's something they did, and they were like, oh, they've done this. Nobody's ever done this and been like 0-2. Like there's something, I don't remember what it was, but like they just find ways.
Does anybody ever pass for
going for the
tie?
Tie against the Raiders, and then like you completely fumbled the bag to try to tie get to the playoffs. Like they don't know how. Right. They don't know what to do. They like just are like, man, you know what? Another way to lose? Yeah, we can find that for you. Like that's just who they are. And I'm not saying Herbert isn't at fault sometimes for sure, but and like Monday night he was for sure, but like, boy, do they find ways. It doesn't make any sense.
The James Bond movie Quantum of Solace, the theme song for that movie was Jack White and Alicia Keys. Another Way to Die. It's really, really good. Chargers theme song. Another Way to Lose.
Alicia Keys a lot. Yeah,
we all like Alicia Keys a lot.
It's my only contribution to that.
I like Jack White. He's like the weirdest version of cool. Like everything he does is like undeniably weird, but like it's never in the like dorky range. It's always in the cool range of weird.
Couldn't tell you who he is.
Me either.
Shameful.
All right.
Me either. But
we know Alicia Keys though, so
we do. This is true.
Pop culture, killing.
Check out that song though. Another way to die.
I'm in. I will take a look for sure.
Goose says, remember when Hansen was at guard and had like a 13 PFF grade? Are you talking about that McDonald's employee who I used to rag on all the time before we started throwing to Patrick Taylor on 4th down, and I got obsessed with him?
I'm not gonna lie, when we were talking about music and then you said Goose says, remember when Hansen? And I was like, oh come on, where are we going here? Please tell me we're not talking about Hansen now. Goose, come on. Oh, that's almost as bad as the actual Hansen on the football team.
Remember when House's ringtone when his staff would call was Mbop Hansen?
Oh, those are the worst of times.
But Tyler, is that terrifying? Is it though?
Tyler says terrifying knowing Brandon Staley will be on the coaching staff next year. You can just feel it.
He won't be making in-game decisions, so I don't know. I think the terrifying meter goes down a little bit. No,
Staley's one of those guys though that like I know I'm supposed to hate him and think he's a clown, and I just still really like him.
Same. I'm definitely there. I'm so there.
Just one of those guys that shouldn't be a head coach.
Yeah, I think he
can come be our DC.
Yeah, I feel like that's fine. I don't like he has games where he can like kind of work himself into like top coordinator like of the week status all the time. He's like, sure. Oh, I can like this team has this. Can I take it away? Yeah. He threw a great punch at Miami last year, and with what I feel like was not like a great defense either. And they slowed it down. I know he got counterpunched in week 1 for sure. And I think, everybody but Buffalo figured it out a little bit, but like it's been difficult. So I think with this gobs of talent, I feel like I would trust him a little bit more potentially. And I think if they can get, like we've talked about this plenty, like if they can get a nose tackle in there with Slayton who can help stop the run and a lot of things, I think that Staley knows that he's got if he's been paying attention to Rasul Douglas this year, I think he knows that he's like, wow, yeah, I got this guy for my scheme. Like, wow, let's go. Like, this will be great. Like, I haven't had this guy in a while. So I think that would be exciting for him. And I think he's, if Walker and Campbell are healthy, which, that's health is just another thing. Don't bring that from the Chargers, please. Don't do that. We already have enough issues with it. But like, I feel like personnel wise, if there's a couple more pieces added, like I feel like he can work with this. So I'm not that terrified personally.
I think that Staley would use Rashawn Gary as much as Joey Bosa gets used, though. Like Joey Bosa at the end of games, like that dude is spent. Like he's been out there so many downs.
Fair.
He's like shaking, like as he tries to like grab a cup of water.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of guys. A lot of guys are fantastic coordinators that get jobs just because that's the next step, and they just don't belong. Like they're not head coaches; they're just really good coordinators.
Yeah.
What about Eberflus? Is he a head coach or is he just a coordinator?
I don't know.
It's hard to judge him with that Bears.
That roster. I mean, he's getting a decent bit out of like the pass rush, like somehow this year, which is interesting. Like, I'm not sure how he's getting it out of him. Like, there's a little bit more juice than they're expected. I mean, they drafted some young, hungry guys who are probably getting after a defensive tackle, but like, I'm kind of surprised that the front four is doing, I think, better than it was advertised. Is it good? Not necessarily. I think he'd be a decent coordinator. I mean, that's 4-3. That's going to be a little different than.
Oh no! I'm
over, but like no.
I'm not saying as a Packers coordinator. Heck no.
I think he did well in Indy. I think he did well there. Like obviously got him a head coaching job. I don't know. That's a tough one.
Goose, I'm not going to read your comment because it sucks. But your other comment where you said that Jack White is Jack Black's antithesis. Well said.
Okay.
Is there a Jack Gray? Like Jack.
I
Jack
mean,
Gray
sure
sounds
there
like,
is.
there has to be. It's just,
Right.
is he?
no, is he known
known.
for anything?
Jack Gray, Australian singer-songwriter.
Oh,
There you go.
What? Wow.
All right.
Hold up.
For
Because
real.
Jack White and Jack Black look slightly similar-ish. Oh no, this is like a Timothy Chalamet young-looking dude.
Okay.
This Jack Gray. No.
So what? You still it doesn't work? You can't have a white, a black, and a gray, and they're all singer-songwriter types?
Oh, look at this. Listen to Jack Black and Jack White's new Jack Gray song. No way. One day
What's
ago.
happening?
Whoa.
Entertainment Weekly.
Did I lose my
Headline. You
hearing?
can
Did we just
finally
make
listen
that
to
happen?
Jack Black and Jack White's Jack Gray song.
You just entered a wormhole.
Are these working correctly? Did I hear that right? Like, what's...
Jack Gray
don't
has
know what's
finally
happening.
arrived. In August, Jack Black and Jack White announced that Black and his Tenacious D partner Kyle Gass had recorded a song with the former White Stripes frontman. Now you can finally listen to the song entitled "Don't Blow It, Cage." Was it?
What
why
about
is it? I thought
Jack
it was
Gray?
called Jack
Yeah,
Gray.
I thought it was Jack Gray. Or is that
What's
like the
going on
band
here?
name for those two
What's
mixed
going
together?
on here?
Despite the Jack Gray
What's
tease,
happening?
the song is credited to Tenacious D with White as a producer. Yeah, I don't understand music.
Can we get Jack Gray involved in the next one?
Yeah.
That would be interesting. But I don't know what the color is. I suppose it's still gray if you add gray to gray, right?
Can Jack Black be our defensive coordinator?
I mean, sure.
Oh, we need a
See why
Jack
not.
Green. Jack Green could come be.
That's got to be. There's someone named that for sure.
Yep.
That's probably. I was going through the other colors in my head. That's the only other one that I feel confident in. That
Jack Green is a
Jack Green,
Scottish musician.
2021.
He's a musician. Unreal.
2021 offensive
course.
lineman out of the University of South Alabama.
Well, there you go. And then he moved, and then he went to the British Isles.
Here's former Vanderbilt coach Jack Green.
Is
recently
every
passed
Jack
away.
color a musician?
2010.
That'd be pretty sick, honestly. That'd be kind of sick.
Jack Brown. That just sounds wrong though.
Probably is.
I'm
said he's
completely
now a Jack
ignoring the
of many
fact that we're
colors.
doing a live stream at this point, looking up Jack colors.
Yeah, it's no.
All right.
Yeah. Goose. Goose wins derailer of the week. I think that's the easy
Dang it, Bruce.
new award. New award. and
I
you've
think
won
that
it.
I think
You've won
Goose.
it this week.
We do need to have a derailed award for the one who gets us derailed the most.
That's it. He's
Yep.
won. There's no
Yep.
chance anybody else can do it before we finish.
If
This-
you
this
want to cast a vote for Goose as derailer of the week, send a super chat.
okay,
Yeah.
that's the only vote works.
Send us $100 so we can print out a trophy or a certificate for Goose and send it to him. Shipping is quite expensive.
If you would like to vote for Goose, mail us a check for
P.O.
$99.
Oh man, what's going on?
Oh,
What's
All
going
right.
on?
Tool for this mentioned the push QB sneak, which
Yeah.
I noticed that he said push QB sneak. He didn't say tush push
Brotherly shove.
and brotherly shove.
Yeah.
Well, this was my question. What should we call it? Because like
Don't
nobody
like
wants
tush
to call
push.
it the tush push.
no.
So what's
stupid?
Need the chat to submit some options here.
I know
Push.
that Philly is putting together brotherly shove merch for their store. They have
Are they?
confirmed that. Yes, they
They
are.
are.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
City
I'm-
of Brotherly Love. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. So I'm good with that. It's a solid one. Yeah, if you guys you gotta send that, wherever you want to send it. The Patreon, any of our Twitters, right? That's get on that. No, it's not this. No. It's not that. No.
I don't think we can.
It's not that.
I don't know if we can read that one on air.
not
for
sure you
our
can either,
audio
to
listeners.
be honest.
I don't think that's bad.
It's the butt putt. Says
The
Tool
butt
for
putt.
this.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just a little. You're just trying to tap it in. Just tap it in. Little tappy.
Yeah,
Tap,
that's
tap,
what. I
tap-a-roo.
should have known that's where he was going with that.
There's
You should have
nothing wrong
known.
with
that he was
doing a
going
little
there.
tapping. here's the thing with these offensive linemen. You got the really large offensive linemen. They got a little more cushion for the pushing.
I asked the robot for some suggestions.
Oh no. That's not.
What do we got?
Number 7 is Russian thrust.
Russian thrust.
I don't know why.
Oh no. Oh no. It obviously can get worse. It obviously can get worse.
It can.
Oh boy.
I mean, it is a close encounter of the athletic kind for sure.
Yep.
Like that's definitely that. It's definitely that.
Oh boy. That doesn't even make sense, robot. You're just a dirty, dirty robot.
You got to tell us now.
No, I'm stuck on the thrust thing. That was completely unnecessary.
Yeah. It is a rushing play.
Yeah.
So I guess.
I asked the Bing bot for something, and
we should see if maybe we could line up Rashid Walker behind him. He's got some experience with stuff like that.
Oh man. That must have been what the robot was thinking.
Just hammer it in there, man.
That's what the robot was.
All right. The Bing bot delivered.
No.
Bing bot.
All right. I think these are all so good. All right, I'm going to save my favorite for last. So here we go. Bing says some possible alternative names for the football play, the Tush push, are the butt boost. This name emphasizes the role of the players behind the quarterback who give him a boost with their butts.
Thank you for explaining that.
Seems less effective, but all right.
Now I'm picturing like Rashid Walker out there. He like turns around. He's like ferociously backing up into Jordan Love, like shoving him backwards. All right,
thinking
the
what
rear
that
rush.
sounds like for the audio audience.
The audio audience.
The rear rush, the back blast. This name suggests the explosive power of the play as well as the direction of the push.
Oh, I'm gonna pass out.
No.
The tail trail.
No, you should have quit. You should have quit.
Back blast.
Man.
Oh no.
That's what they must have called it. Did Jair take the snap this week? Is that what happened in practice? Like that's
oh no.
Now we know how Jair's hurt. They've been practicing the back blast in practice.
That's why Jair's hurt, man. Okay. At least we have explanation now.
All right, here's my favorite.
All right.
Although I don't know if
there's no way
the reaction we got from Ryan.
I don't think it can top that one. There's no chance.
The rump ram.
Oh.
Jeez. Since the comment section isn't really taking off, I figured I'd go to a different AI and see what it has to say.
Oh, jeez.
So we got the booty bump.
Booty bump.
Go with the booty bump. The derriere drive.
Ooh, all right.
Okay. Fanny shove.
Okay.
The backside boost. The rump thrust.
Rump thrust.
Keister jam.
What? Keister jam?
Keister jam. Butt blast.
What about
rear ram,
roast,
glute go, and tailgate surge?
Tailgate surge.
Oh, man.
All right.
Too old for this.
Go.
That's okay. That's interesting as well.
What does that even mean?
The lard yard.
I don't know, but you know
the
what?
Lard yard.
Jewel for this says the lard yard.
I mean, it's a lot of. I get it. It's a lot of O line and D linemen, I guess. But man,
Goose says the rear rocket.
Oh man.
All right, so look, I'm putting this to a poll on Twitter, and I got 3 on here. I got the booty bump, back blast, and rump ram. What's the 4th? Hold on. No, we're not. Nope.
Wait. Just let me get a couple more here. Let me throw a couple more in for contention, okay?
That was close, JJ. Jeez, that was close.
Nothing was close. What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to put a disclaimer on this.
Keep moving.
When this episode goes up,
which ones did you put in the thing so far? How many do you have?
I only have 3 so far. I got booty bump, Backblast, and Rump Ram.
Behind
So you need one more?
Behind Beeline from Too Old for This. That's interesting.
All right. Hear me out. The cheek sneak.
Cheek sneak.
Right?
Well,
that's pretty good, isn't it?
That's actually pretty
pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I like that.
All right. Trying to see if there's any that are actually not just completely stupid.
If the goal was to get people like totally off of the negative Packer talk, we have definitely
did it.
Geez, we definitely did it. There's no doubt. Oh my gosh, Goose.
All right.
I don't know. Now it's a close race, right? Having the comment about from Tool for This, right? They've killed it on stopping the Tush push. It's a tight race now for derailment of the week. It might be a co-award at this point. It might be a co-award. Jeez.
Just let me know if you need some more because I got 12 more just sitting here.
For some reason, I can't tag Jake. Jake, did you block me on Twitter?
Jake.
Tag.
Why are you the worst?
Your handle's just Jake NFL Draft, right?
Yeah, it is.
All right. So I'm just typing it in because I can't tag you, so I'm just typing it. So, all right.
They suspended me for putting out too much Keon Coleman film on the timeline. I'm sure that's what the problem
they suspended Ryan for all the Alicia Keys stuff he was posting.
How dare you? I would never.
All right, here. Let's see. I think I can. I put this in the chat. Is this going to go out? No, but this comment has failed to post the Packernet podcast. Dang it!
I've seen
stinks.
It's man. I think we left one off there though.
What's that?
The rush thrust wasn't put on there. I can't believe what happened.
You know what you could do?
But
we could do a bracket.
Oh,
we could do a bracket.
This is the best March Madness bracket of all time.
You know what I'm saying? We do a March Madness bracket with
the best
all this nonsense because I got a bunch of them.
You know what's going to
good of football.
It doesn't matter. It's fun.
You know,
this is for the good of football. We need this to get really big because none of us want to keep saying tush push.
No, it's the dumbest thing ever.
Yes, the exposure is going to be good for Packernet derailed, sure, but this is for the good of football.
Right. It has to happen.
Somebody,
for the good of the
somebody
people.
commented on this.
Did comment,
I can't see who it is. I'm betting $2. It's Goose.
It isn't.
It's not Goose.
Not.
Well, it's Matt. I think it's Matt's last name. I forgot. Matt, what's his name? Formerly of, or maybe still with Packers by the Borders.
Oh yeah,
love Matt. He said Ram Bum.
Ram Bum, yeah, that's a thing.
That's a good one.
Jeez.
Well, we can get to work on that.
That's
Ryan
that's
as
a bracket that could easily be. It's like everybody at the end of October is doing the candy brackets. Like, what's your favorite candy? It's like, no.
This is a significantly better.
That's very tired. We've done that. We know everybody. Everybody's got their takes. We need fresh ones. Here it is.
Are you the badonkadonk bulldozer?
Ryan, are you able to grab that link that I put in the private chat, and then as the stream host, can you post it so that our viewers can
want me to post it where?
In the chat for because I can't. Yeah. For you because it just thinks that I'm like a spam because I'm not.
Because you're putting links in. Yeah,
exactly.
That makes sense. Golly.
Hey-o.
It went out to Facebook too, so that's perfect.
Sweet. All right, people, check that out. Put your submissions, vote, share it.
Yep.
And hey,
make sure you check back because there's going to be more to vote on.
Herb Street in there, Paul Feinbaum, whoever you need to.
The fanny pack attack,
Ian
junk launcher, trunk thruster.
The fanny pack attack. That's pretty. That if Green Bay, if it originated there, that would have been pretty good.
The Heine heave.
Heave.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. It almost feels wrong to pick the game after this.
South Pole Storm, backseat driver, touchdown tushy, hammer slam hammer, patootie pound.
Patootie pound.
The Duff Dash.
Yeah, it feels very wrong to. No, it almost feels wrong to pick the game after this. Going back to pick the game, I don't know, man.
Packernet derailed is becoming.
You can't get the train back on track.
Packernet
There's those
after
shots. You
dark.
cannot. Yeah, this is derailed after. Yeah, this is the midnight train. All right, like it is.
Damn you, AJ. Killed me.
Bumper.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Add it.
We gotta go through this. Just go through the chat here because
Yeah, we got
some
we
good
got
ones,
through
and
the
we
comments
gotta.
here.
Yeah, we got it. There's work to be done on this.
I can add a second bracket in here if we want.
Just do a thread.
Yeah. So let's see. We got Bumper Pumper is one of them, right?
Yep, sure is.
That's my fine. That's a Final Four pick. I'm picking him to go Final
what
Four.
else
we got
here?
Rump Bump. The backdoor blast.
See,
I don't even understand what your other comment even means.
This isn't supposed to be a contest for NSFW. Okay, that's not what this is. This isn't necessarily that. Goose Goose, your comment on Twitter too. What are we doing, brother? What are we doing?
Listen, there is
no, you can't. What are we doing? Oh, jeez.
See, there's
don't put this comment on there either.
And then there's
don't
just
put this comment on.
Then there's just
don't
X-rated content. Goose.
This latest comment.
By the way, we don't need to know what your search history looks like, bro. Just keep that to yourself.
Jeez. Don't put the latest comment on. Don't do it. Leave it there.
Packers versus Broncos. The Packers are currently one.
We're actually doing this.
Favorites.
All right. Segue.
Oh, this
on
is great.
DraftKings.
Oh man, I can't take it. Jeez.
I will I will just say I think I'm taking the Broncos to win. And
that's a little, man, we've gone really low. We've taken a dive from this last 15 minutes there picking the Broncos, but
I think the Broncos are better than the Raiders, and the Raiders didn't beat the Packers beat themselves, and I just haven't seen anything since week 2, I guess, since week 3 from the Packers to make me think that they are going to get out of their own way. So, I am not hating on the Packers. You don't have to call me a doubter. But I need to see that the Packers believe in themselves. And right now I don't get that vibe from the coaches, from the players. I think this is going to be a very low scoring game. If we get the same version of the Packers that we have had, since Detroit, they have the talent, but I don't see that they believe in themselves, and I don't see that they are motivated to go out there and play 4 quarters of football. So once I see that they believe in themselves and see that they're actually putting that talent to use, at that point, I'm going to start picking the Packers to win again, because they are, I think, clearly one of the more talented rosters in the NFL. They are playing like garbage. And I'm not putting my money on the Packers until the Packers start believing in themselves. And, you got Jair speaking for the defense. They clearly don't believe in the offense. Matt LaFleur talking about that what he wants to see the most against the Broncos is, these young players going out there and putting in the effort and not just going through the motions. He talked about I just want to see that they care, that kind of stuff. So, extremely talented roster. And until they climb down out of this headspace and just go out there and execute and do their job and play 4 quarters of football, they're not going to win a lot of games. So, but I don't think that there's any part of the roster anywhere that you could point to and say that there should be a lack of talent holding them back. All right. I like AJ Dillon. We all liked our offensive line 3 weeks ago. Even looking at the guys that we have and hey, listen, you're not going to have Bakhtiari. I don't think many of us would have been that concerned. Hey, we don't really believe in our safeties. Guess what? Rudy Ford's playing out of his mind. Like, we got guys.
The one position we were really, really concerned
right.
about isn't a problem right now.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah, and the positions that
That's
are
how it
executing the worst, besides like the obvious of like tight end, like, hey, listen, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. Nobody thought tight end was going to be a success this year because it takes like 2 or 3 years for tight ends to figure it out, and we have all rookies. Shocker that didn't work out. But like that's it. Roster, the places that are like underperforming the most are the places where we have the most talent and the most quote unquote superstars. Like, I'm sorry, like I shouldn't feel more safe when you're targeting Rasul Douglas than I do when you're targeting Jair. So
it's fair.
If Jair wants to play like Jair, then I think that's going to make a big difference for the team. The over and under is set at 45 points.
No way.
Think I'll take the under.
No way. How have they done that? Have they watched the games?
Well, okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Keep in mind the Broncos did cough up 70 to the Dolphins, and then they coughed up like 38 or something to the Bears. I forget how many points. How many points did the Bears score against the Broncos? 28,
28, 31-28 they lose.
It's wild that like we saw the Bears put up 28 points and we were like, wow, that's a lot of points. 28? Dang, son.
Yeah. No.
Like 27 is like the cutoff between like, you actually did something, and like, all right, well, good thing you have a defense.
Yeah. I will say I feel like the record overall Green Bay's against Wilson has been pretty good, at least performance-wise. I know obviously there's at least in my opinion, the worst, the toughest loss to take ever is in that. That was a game where they chased, right? They blew them out once, and I think it was the run the table, right? They blew them out, and then it's just like, just ran them over. Wilson struggled in Lambeau. Obviously, this isn't in Lambeau. I don't know. Something about this to me, Wilson just, I feel like it's going to be just an absolute pillow fight of the mightiest proportions in this game. I'm going to take Green Bay. I'm going to take them.
The mightiest pillow fight?
Yeah, it's going to be an epic pillow fight this one. It's going to be an epic pillow fight this game. I'm going to take Green Bay on a last-second Anders Carlson game-winning field goal. That's what I'm about to do. That's what I'm doing. Score TBD.
When Dan Carlson missed the kick, and then like the camera immediately cut to like the Carlson family, and there's this little girl just like weeping, like holding on to her dad or grandpa, just weeping, like, no, he did it. And I was like, oh man, like, is this some niece, like, oh, Uncle Dan missed a kick or something. I don't know. I was loving the like brother versus brother kicker thing in that game.
That was cool.
Oh, I was having a blast with that. And then that was cool. And the fact that our guy outperformed one of the best place kickers in the NFL. I'll take that.
Yeah, it might be a long one too. It might be like everybody's nervous as heck, but where we are, we're a mile high, and there's just something about this where it feels like a game where it's just like, man, there's just nothing going right. The defense is playing fine. The offense just, they did a couple things. They did something nice early. They did something nice. They've had like 2 drives where they've looked good. And then they win at 17-16 on a long field goal. And they find a way to get it done. It will not be pretty, but that's where I'm going to go, I think, 17-16.
So ESPN has this to say. Dang, it just reloaded. Here we go. Oh, dang it. Where'd it go? I hate this. Anyways, at one point they had this show that Mile High Stadium, because of the higher altitude, that you have like more long kicks in that stadium than anywhere else, and that like last year of the Broncos opponents had like 55-yard plus game-winning field goals at Mile High. So I actually really like that prediction.
Back to the well. It's worked.
This is honestly the best way to use unders too. Like, we don't want touchdowns or short field goals, like the extra points and short field goals. But if we're booming 50 to 60 yard, in that range, field goals all day.
Yeah, baby.
That's his game.
Yeah.
Once we get in field goal range of a 55 yarder, just kick it.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal was of that. I don't remember how far it was the Atlanta first drive. I can't remember off the top of my head how far it would have been.
I want to say it was going to be a 53 yarder.
Okay. Let it loose. What's punting going to get you at this point? Let's see what he's got. You know what? We ragged on him all offseason. Like, how they've done this. This is practice looks terrible. This preseason looks terrible.
Hey,
not shown up.
Not me.
And he's shown up. And you know what? I'll credit him for showing up like this. So I believe. Matt, believe in him. If you got 55 yarder in this one, believe. That's all I'm asking.
Did you ever play my call on Packernet After Dark that I sang like a week ago about just having Anders be our entire offense?
I think so. I don't know.
It's like let's just try for a record-setting field goal on first down every time.
He's one of our best players right now. So Rudy Ford and our freaking kicker. So there you go. Who'd have thought?
As everybody expected.
We always know what's going on.
And Rashid Walker.
Yeah.
We definitely know things.
That's why we exist. We're like freaking weathermen. I don't know what the point is.
Yep.
So
we make predictions and then we look stupid and then we just keep acting like experts.
Yep.
That's what like Coward and all the other
right.
Like that is the formula.
Right.
Jake, so you said 17-16.
Yeah.
So you're taking the Packers to win but not cover. It's a 1.5 point spread.
Yep. That's what I'm doing.
And you
the
are
least probable.
Smashing the under. You're smashing the under. You got, what is that, 33 points?
Yes. Yep.
So that's 12 points below the
Listen,
over-under.
There has been very few games this year where I go, oh, yeah, you know what? And maybe I'm stupid. I am stupid. That's not a maybe. But I know last night I was like, well, this is a great recipe for a game to go over because everybody thinks that Lawrence can't move. Right, like Jaguars are playing defense. Like,
didn't they go over?
Oh
they
yeah,
went over.
Oh yeah, by a ton. It made sense but I feel like this year so far, it's like offensive play not great, quarterback play, extremely week to week, even for the best of the best. So it's like I don't know. I just don't feel like I'm just be like, they're putting up 48 in this game. Maybe they do. Maybe the defenses are just that bad. I don't think Green Bay's is that bad against Russ, especially against a Peyton offense that, I don't know. What are they right now? Like Russ is not making good decisions at all. He's late as he often, I think, was at Seattle, but he got away with it at Seattle. Right? He can't get away with it anymore.
Russell Wilson's last good year was 2020.
Yeah.
He was an MVP front runner for the longest time, had like one bad game late in the season, and Aaron Rodgers caught up to him and never looked back.
Yep.
And Russell Wilson has never been good since then.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's I don't it should be teeing off season on McGlinchey. Like it should be. Pass rushers on that side should be getting home a decent amount in this game. I just don't think that. And all the Jerry Jeudy stuff, like I just don't think this offense to me is something where I'm like, I just don't like. I don't think there's a lot of. They're not connect. There's not a lot of rhythm and connection with either of these offenses to make me think, oh yeah, this is a game where they can take advantage of the defenses they're playing against. I don't see it right now.
AJJ in the chats, not the JJ, your host, said the thing about picking this game to go under is that both defenses lack assignment consistency and both teams do have some heavy speed at the skill positions. Could be some big plays to score. I have never, like even before they kind of had somewhat of a fire sale 2 years ago, I've never liked anything about Denver's offense like ever. I don't love their receivers. I really don't.
They don't get Mims out there enough, first of all. Like, do they know he's on the team?
I mean,
they're we got them in there for one
he's
snap.
on the team.
Yeah, he gets in there and he's got at one point he had 18 yards per route run. It was a stupid number because they're just not putting him out there. And it's there's one deep ball game that goes to him. So I get that. But also the offenses lack assignment consistency as well. So like I said, epic pillow fight incoming. It's just how it is. It's gonna be both teams be like, can we just make one thing happen? Let's go. One. They have 0 right now. We just need 1. And it's it's gonna be that the whole way.
Ryan, you want to give your prediction here?
My official is 25-24 Packers, but I hate that. And I feel like my gut tells me something closer to what Jake has, just because the Packers defense has been good enough to at least, offenses are scoring 17 points a game, and that's about what the Packers are doing. So, if that's what I feel like the Packers are a completely middle of the road defense that's going to be able to play down to the competition, and it's pretty low competition. So I would almost be surprised if they got to 24, and I have no way in the world of understanding, unless the Packers completely fix everything and get back to how they were early, how they get to 25, even against the supposedly horrific defense, which I think is an overblown narrative. But I'm going to stick with that 25-24 because it's much more positive than just saying, I don't know, I don't feel like the Packers are going to score 10 points.
For what it's worth here, our little prediction machine says 29.5 Green Bay, 21.9 Denver.
Switch it to home and away for the points.
25. Wow. Holy crap. 25-24.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I think this is a game where that does really matter. We were just talking about the mile high thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's where I got it from.
25-24. So who's... Yeah, it's rough.
And I only switched it because that felt more right to me than saying 29 to whatever.
I like 29-21 a lot better.
0.7 difference. 24.9, 24.2.
Yep.
So a tie?
If you
call
last
that
3 games though, last 3 games instead of home and away, which you get the 3 worst games from the Packers.
Right.
It's 29-20. It's actually a bigger gap.
Right. That's how much Denver sucks.
I don't know what happened a week ago. I don't know. 19-8 was
Vegas?
so weird. No, the Thursday game where the Chiefs looked just like they.
Oh yeah.
It was like, who is this team that wore these red jerseys today? I don't know who.
They've looked kind of sickly all year. I don't know. They just don't seem like themselves.
Yeah, they don't. But it's also Denver. I don't know how you put up 19 when Chicago's putting up 28. Miami put up 70.
Don't forget it's a division rival game. They're
is.
always freaking weird.
It is.
It's a Thursday night game. Those are also always weird.
It's true.
And Chiefs have not really looked like the Chiefs this year. The Chiefs this year feel like the Seahawks when we all still had to pretend they were good, but they weren't playing good. But we were all just listen, I'm not going to come out and say that the Seahawks suck because everybody's going to laugh at me. And then they're going to start playing well and I'm going to look like an idiot.
Right.
But then they just never felt the same. They were playing really well, but they always felt soft. They had a nice, vulnerable, squishy belly that you could just poke at the whole game. It's how the Chiefs are playing right now. I think a lot of that comes from, I think the defense kind of feels that way.
Do they feel 2019 Packers a little bit? Or it's wow, the defense actually looks better than I thought, and the offense it looks weird. It looks like it's not in sync. There's something, and they'll have their big game here and there, right? We're oh yeah, that's them, and it just feels there's something that feels a little off.
AJJ says Legion of Fluff. I think I say Legion of Floof, so it still rhymes. I remember 2 years ago, I think you had Tyreek and Mecole Hardman, and then like some other guy, like not Denard Robinson, Dimitri. What was the third guy who was there who sucked? Anyways, and they started calling themselves, their third receiver,
not Demarcus Robinson,
Demarcus Robinson,
Legion of Zoom.
Yeah, they call themselves Legion of Zoom.
You can't take that. Miami is the Legion of Zoom.
Oh yeah.
Well, now, but Tyreek,
I know Tyreek kind of elevated. Yeah.
No, but I'm saying
no. I know what you're saying.
It's just wherever Tyreek is the Legion of Zoom.
Is he the fastest player on that team?
I don't know. They got what's the running back?
Oh,
Mostert and H.N. are
yeah.
fast. Man, they
Mostert
are.
is stupid fast.
So, but
see, article from Pro Football Network ranking the 11 fastest. No, I don't want this. NFL players in 2023. Tyreek Hill. Oh, come on, ads.
They did have the top speeds where it was like all Dolphins, and then Aaron Jones was in there on that one play, which was cool. Like
when he pulled his hammy on.
So
it was either that or the
Tyreek
screen
Hill.
that they threw back to him. I don't know which play it was, but yeah, it was definitely week 1.
Number 2, Kalen Barnes, Vikings cornerback. Kalen Barnes is not a player who's on my radar. I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
Probably should.
Is he even on the Vikings radar?
Number 3, Raheem Mostert. Yeah. Number 4, Marquise Goodwin.
Yeah, he's
Brown.
Yeah.
I always get him and Hollywood Brown mixed up.
That's fair.
The only 2 Marquises I know. Tariq Woolen, cornerback for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, he's pretty fast.
Yeah. Kick returner for the Dallas Cowboys, Cavante Turpin.
Yep.
Yeah. You can tell I haven't watched any Cowboys games this year because I've never heard of this guy. I'm sure
they've been. Knows exactly who he is. I think they've had him out on offense too. They've kind of done the Nixon thing that we were talking about earlier. They've like, we can get this guy on offense, do a couple things.
Then you got number 7, wide receiver Jalen Hyatt for the New York Giants, and I just had to mention him because the lead-in on his little thing is great. It says Jalen Hyatt ran the most disappointing 4.40 in the history of the NFL Combine.
That's true.
It's like poetry because when he ran that 4.40, we were all like, "Oh, what? That's all." Like
that stinks.
Because you do that? We saw his play speed at Tennessee, and you're like, "Dang."
I feel like he might have been able to put all the pads on and still run that 4.4, and then people are like, "Oh, he did that with the pads on." I see.
He had to have eaten like a bad clam for breakfast or something that day. Here you go. Coming in at number 8.
Some people just don't run that as well, right?
Boom.
There you go.
We got one.
Watson's speed is as dangerous as any player in the league when running across the field. The way he leaves defensive backs grasping for straws as he runs past and away from them can be comical if you're a Packers fan. Watson isn't a great receiver yet, but he and the coaching staff have already found a way to weaponize his pure speed, which is how he's winning and producing so well despite his current form. I don't know that I agree with that last sentence.
They have to do him like that.
Well, they've figured out much yet. Then you got Jalen Waddle, number 9, and DK Metcalf, number 10.
Speedy.
Forgot that he ran a 4.33.
Yeah,
the dude is 230 pounds.
I mean, you'll never forget the chase down that he had.
Yeah,
that is
as a very public Buda Baker hater, I've always enjoyed that play.
That was sick.
It is one of those things that you look back on and you're like, how did everybody miss it? And he's one of those guys that like if he hits, everybody's going to look back and say everybody was an idiot for not picking up DK Metcalf, and he did hit.
He was. I think he was the only wide receiver I liked in that entire draft class. Yeah. I never liked Debo. I still don't. I didn't like AJ Brown, but obviously he's a freak. I didn't like. Who is the idiot that the Patriots grabbed?
Oh, and then he's
N'Keal Harry.
N'Keal Harry. Yeah.
I think that's the best I've ever done with receiver rankings. Was that draft?
What'd you have?
It was for me. It was DK, Debo, Brown, 1, 2, 3. McLaurin was 5. I like Campbell outside the top 12. Not to toot my. I'm not trying to.
Which
but
Campbell?
like
Do it.
Paris Campbell was in that draft.
Oh yeah.
Everybody loved him.
Forgot about Paris. Yeah, that's right. He was very.
Everybody loved
him. I don't know
because he had a lot of speed, which was
I can't remember.
Which was
he was an H-back in college though. He was not a receiver.
He ran goes and drags. That's what they ran him on. Which was again they ripped Michigan to shreds doing that a lot of the time, right? He was doing a lot of that. I did not like N'Keal Harry either. I did like Hakeem Butler, but I feel like a lot of people did as well. He was up there for.
I did like Hakeem Butler.
He was up there for a lot of people, so I think he was 4, and I think I had Marquise at 6, but that was probably the best I've done. And that was just the strangest thing. It was like people realized after that draft. I feel like it was like, well, we better start taking these guys in round 1. Got to have 5 years of control on a Metcalf who goes 64th. Like this can't happen again. We can't do this.
Well, so this is conjuring up some memories, and I remember that like wide receiver was not really on our radar for the 2019 draft.
Oh no, don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. Don't do it.
No, what I'm about to bring
up,
I guarantee is not on your radar, because I'm going to be lucky if you can even relate to what I'm going to say.
Okay.
2019, like as we're heading into the season, and like the first few games, so it's Devontae and Geronimo and MVS. And then you also had the guy Jamon. We had Jamon, but I think he didn't actually make the final 53. I think he got cut over the summer.
Yeah. I think that's right.
And we're watching, and like the narrative is like that this is a rebuilding year. We didn't know we were going to go 13-3. And we start getting progressively more and more banged up. So Devontae gets turf toe in week 4 against the Eagles. Carson Wentz has like the last good game of his career against us. Then week 5, it's the Aaron Jones game against the Cowboys where he waves bye-bye at Leighton Vander Esch.
That was sweet.
Week 6 is that Lions game where it was the game where Trey Flowers kept getting called for hands to the face. And this was like the game that like Al Lazard emerges. Yep. And I think this is where the wide receiver desperation was born and like has never really died off since, was that Devontae had gone down with the turf toe, and it felt like nobody really stepped up. And like you had Al Lazard kind of stepped up, but like MVS and Geronimo were doing like nothing.
Yeah.
So week 7 rolls around, and it's the Oakland Raiders. And we have nobody because Geronimo is hurt. MVS is hurt. Al Lazard is still kind of an unknown at this point, and Devontae is out.
Yep.
And I remember talking to people that week, and for some reason, we as a fan base had become convinced of something, and it was that the trade deadline was coming up in just another week or two. Oh, and we had become convinced that if the Packers played well against the Raiders, that this was going to show Gutekunst that he needed to go all in this year because it was not a rebuilding year, which I think that actually kind of aged well. Like it clearly wasn't a rebuilding year. Like we went 13-3. Yeah. And I think that, the game that we had against the Raiders, Rodgers has a perfect passer rating. Nice. We hang like 40 points. I think like 38 points on the Raiders.
I think it was 42. I think it was 42-24 or something. Yeah. And he threw that ridiculous throw to Jones. Jones, I think, had to make that really quick adjustment to the other shoulder. That was sweet. MVS took that short little out route all the way
up the sideline, like 60 yards.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, as a fan base, we were all convinced that if the Packers played well in that game, that Gutekunst was going to push all his chips in, and that meant he was going to go trade for a wide receiver too. And I've been thinking about that a lot recently of like, I don't know, man. It's on the one hand, it's like a little weird that he didn't do that. Because like even how that game went, it still was kind of clear that like those guys weren't really the answer, but also it wasn't like he was right because that wasn't what we needed. But also, I don't know.
Yeah.
I go back and forth on it.
And wide receiver 2 was sitting there in the 3rd round. But that's neither. We've moved past it, right?
Honestly, it's been so many years of wide receiver drafts now. I actually don't know which guy you're referring to.
Sternberger over McLaurin.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
But
anyway. HJJ coming in
that
clutch
just means
there
that if we had drafted him, he was going to suck.
Appreciate you, HJJ.
Oh, that's true. You know what? We would have derailed McLaurin's career if we picked him. I didn't think about that.
That's true.
I didn't think about that.
And Jace would be out there just tearing it up.
Yeah, this is true.
Hey, come on. He's been like super duper good in the USFL or whatever.
Terry McLaurin, that big contract, you're welcome.
Yep.
AJJ with a super chat, $5. He says that 466 in the JJ pay counter is looking kind of sad. Thank you, AJJ. We got me back up to 6.33. Appreciate you looking out for a fellow JJ. Ryan, I'm going to put you on the spot. What is a football or a Packers thing that has been on your mind recently? I mean, I know that you do 2 podcasts a day, so you have plenty of opportunity to dump this stuff out, but what's been on your mind recently?
Well, I mean, honestly, the message that you sent me is kind of what's been on my mind the last couple of hours, because I think you're right, and I don't exactly know what to do with it, but that's kind of what's been, the bottom line is like, this is kind of uncharted territory. Usually being a Packers podcaster is we celebrate all the time. Like, dude, we're freaking dominant. We kick the crap out of them. Also, the Bears suck and the Vikings suck and the Lions suck. They might beat us, but they still suck. So it is kind of an element of how do you navigate being a podcaster or creator of a bad team. And that's not to say they can't turn things around either this year or very quickly, but it still is a useful skill to try to develop, even if you're not a content creator as a fan. I mean, do you want to just be miserable all the time? Or, is there a way to, be honest and to correctly assess the situation, but not just sit here and, circle jerk around about everything we hate. Hate this, suck, fire. It's like, okay, we've said that. We've kind of, here's what we said, here's what we think. What do we do, though? What do we do all day, every day as Packer fans that isn't just, constantly saying the same negative thing over and over again? I don't exactly know the answer, but there is an answer, and interested to figure out exactly what that is.
The joy of football.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun.
Kind of. I think that, and it's been a thing for me both in college football and the NFL. I'm a Buckeye fan, and I live in Michigan, and so I am just
elite combo.
Constantly in what's that?
An elite combo.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, it kind of sucks.
It's got to be fun. I mean,
it kind of sucks because I'm surrounded by Lions fans and Michigan fans all the time, and like, trash talk is not really my thing. I don't get a lot of satisfaction out of trash talk. I really don't engage in trash talk very much. People who just see me going after the Bears on Twitter would disagree with that, but in real life, I'm not a trash talker. Like, I'm hanging out with my buddies. If their team sucks, I really don't like rub their face in it at all. That's not what I'm about.
Yeah.
And I've been struggling a bit recently with like trying to enjoy the good things about the Packers, and also like trying to enjoy, like, as a fan of a big team like Ohio State, who have national championship aspirations every year, like you get into this headspace where like, hey, you win by 25, and then like you can't be happy so you should have won by more, or like, hey, okay, you won by 25 against this middling Big Ten team, but would that beat Georgia? And a lot of that comes from like other rival teams, looking for something to poke you about, and it's like not really a way to live. It's not really a way to be a football. Like, no, your team is never going to be perfect every week. Even look at the Chiefs. Like the Chiefs have gone to like 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls or something. And, they're kind of playing down a little bit this year. And like, are Chiefs fans supposed to be like upset that they won a close game over the Denver Broncos? Come on. And I'm looking at the Packers like, no, they're playing crappy football right now, and that's on them. It's one thing when you watch a team that doesn't have a lot of talent and they're putting it all out there and playing hard, and like I think it's still easy to be excited about that. Like, hey, we're losing a lot, but you can see these areas where these guys are playing above their ability, or you can see like growth, and like that is really easy to root for and be excited about. And you don't really have that right with the Packers because you're seeing a very talented roster go out there and look like they're not trying. They don't know how to play football. Guys who are superstars who have been Pro Bowlers going out there and like, oh, I don't know how to tackle a running back, and it's frustrating. And my place as a content creator is not to feed the negativity. All right. The team is creating enough negativity right now. My place as a content creator should be to help people process these emotions that they have and the frustration that they have, talk through some of this stuff, and help keep it in perspective. And so, we got a lot of friends who are content creators. First of all, we get the whole Packernet podcast network, a bunch of fantastic, talented people with great shows. And, I'm friends with guys like Matt Ramage just keeps churning out fantastic content all the time. Like that dude does not know how to have a bad day is his public persona.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you talk to him and he's like being real, like, I'm sure he has plenty of bad days, but like he does a really good job of like still keeping it fun and just rolling with the punches. And I want to be more like Matt. And I'm really hopeful that we can inspire other people, the people listening to this, your friends, other podcasters to look inwards at ourselves, because like, hey, the team has some stuff that we need to fix about the team. But as a fan base, I think there's a lot that we need to fix about the fan base. Like we're the ones out here booing our own team when they're not playing well, selling tickets, sit down, picking fights with other Packers fans, griping all the time, whining about Gutekunst and Mark Murphy and Matt LaFleur and Joe Barry. And like a lot of these individual incidents, you can like justify like, hey, look, Joe Barry probably shouldn't have this job. Okay. But it's a pattern. It's not an isolated justifiable incident. This is how we fan is constantly crapping on our own team, trashing players. Oh, we got to cut AJ Dillon. Why? Well, because he falls down. Like, dude,
that's good.
Imagine saying that to
That's
Ben
good.
Simmons, the running back coach. Like,
I love that.
He would look at you like you're the biggest idiot on the planet. And guess what? You probably are. Yeah. Is it frustrating when he like trips and sure. But you know what? You're missing all the plays where he runs for 8 or 12 yards and like it's a cool play. You know why? It's because you're still whining and crying about 2 plays ago he tripped and only gained a yard or got hit at the line of scrimmage and went down. So I want us to look inward as a fan base and start building each other up and thinking about how we can. This chat is distracting. How we can
That's a good comment.
change our fan habits, because I am certainly, one of the worst offenders in this area. I was talking about Jair earlier with the fact that, like, hey, he's taking shots at our offense, and like, dude, can you learn how to cover a guy again? But like, I don't know how we as content creators are not taking that incident and having fun with it, like we did earlier in the show, where we're talking about creating a role for him on offense. Like, dude, you have a former Pro Bowler. I think he's been All Pro before. I can't remember, but former Pro Bowler, really talented, big name, cocky cornerback on your team, talking about like, hey, you know what? I'm going to come play offense for you guys because you can't play offense. Like, dude, we should be making memes about that. We should be having fun with that. Like, it is a fun thing. And none of us are conditioned to view it as a fun thing the first time we see it. Like, we all look at it and we're like, you friggin' jerk. Like, I remember this embarrassing play where you got cooked. Like, come on. Like, it's a way of thinking, and it's mental habits that I don't like in myself. And I imagine a lot of us, as we reflect on it, probably feel a similar way. Pitchforks
come out real fast. I mean, any little incident, like you said, with the AJ Dillon tripping thing, and he's got to get cut. I know you're on a similar page, JJ, but with Josh Myers, I mean, everybody wanted that guy. I mean, he before the season even started and he did anything wrong, everybody wanted him gone. And that was similar to like the opposite of Billy Turner, where it was like I was trying as hard as I could to convince people that he really had a good year last year. Nobody would believe it. Like, no, he's trash, he's garbage. And now he's not playing very well, fair enough. But it's just weird that it just anyone, Matt LaFleur, everybody wants him fired because of the play calling. Nobody knows what the play calling was. Nobody watched. Nobody saw. They just saw that the offense didn't work, and they're like, oh, he's a bad play caller. They're like, well, what did he call? What was the play? What didn't work? Was it bad route running? Was it good route running? Was it a bad concept against a good defensive? Like, they have no idea. And again, I went back and watched it, and I see guys open all over the place, and I say it for 2 weeks straight, and still everybody wants Matt LaFleur fired. And it's like, I don't know what else to say other than, I mean, it's just this immediate. Like, it feels like maybe he might have called bad plays because the offense didn't work, so he probably should be fired. Like, that's such a wrong way to do things. Like, don't call for somebody's job if you have no idea what the situation is. I mean, if you really invest, I mean, I didn't even do a close enough job, but I just did a cursory look and said, no, a lot of guys are open. I'm not going to call for his job. But I mean, I think there should be a lot more investigation into the situation before we and more than one game on top of that. It's not just, well, this one game was bad, he should be fired. Like, again, week 1 and 2, he was being called an offensive guru for what he was doing for Jordan Love and setting him up with all these guys open and making it easy for him. Film breakdown guys saying Matt LaFleur is just a genius doing great stuff. Now you got Kurt Benkert out there trashing the guy, so everybody thinks he's bad and he's got to go, which, by the way, I know we're trying to be positive, but Kurt Benkert annoys the living crap out of me. I know everybody loves him. I can't stand the guy.
I blocked him a year ago. I can't.
He's so obnoxious, and everybody's like, he's the greatest thing. No, he's obnoxious. I don't like the guy at all.
We think he's Kurt. We think Kurt Benkert is Kurt Warner.
No kidding.
For some reason, what is this?
The guy's like a 4th string quarterback that plays Madden. Like, who gives a crap what he thinks? And he's out there whining. Did you see? I know you blocked him. Did you see he was whining about his personality? He said he thinks he got cut by Matt LaFleur because Matt LaFleur didn't like his personality. It wasn't because of his play.
If it was, he could. If that was the case, like, why is he should be on like teams? He should be on teams. That's the thing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he started it off by talking about like the play calling is stale. So I was like, okay, maybe, I don't know. Like, the league is caught up. I mean, that's possible. I don't really know. But then he goes on whining about like their personalities didn't mesh, and like Matt and like Matt didn't really like him. Like, he spoke up, and it wasn't. Matt didn't like that he was speaking up in meetings.
He probably just talked like he does on Twitter. Like, hey, I'm the smartest guy in the room.
Right. Exactly. And it wasn't appreciated. It wasn't
that much either.
It wasn't appreciated. And then he goes on whining about how he thinks he got cut because Matt didn't like him and it wasn't his play. It's like, no, dude, it's your play. That's why you're not on a team right now. So I don't know why he's worshipped in Packers circles, but it annoys me.
This is a very niche comparison, but like I will say, like right now, Illinois, their basketball coach has a way he does things, and they bring in some top recruits and they don't mesh. It's like, oh, they just leave, right? Like it's not like, oh my gosh, we have to tear each other a new one because it didn't work for this coach and one of these top recruits. Like it just sometimes it doesn't work, but like to go on and like keep professing like this is why it didn't, like it's just, oh man, I did not like that at all. But what are you gonna do? I do think it's well, I will say, is I don't know if it was my turn. All I was thinking about earlier before, the kind of the long rants, I was thinking about how JC Latham was going to do against a premier sophomore edge rusher from Tennessee tomorrow. I will say that's what I was thinking about, and how like Fashawn is going to look against Tui Maloa and stuff like that. But yeah, I think like we can study all we want. Like if we're not in the room, we're not like truly ball knowers. Like that's just the case. Like we can say what we see. And like, sometimes, yeah, it'll make sense. And like, yeah, you can look and see a few things, but like until you're in the room, you're not fully like, well, like we talked about earlier, like we can look absolutely stupid sometimes. That's how this goes. Like we're not in the rooms, right? Like that's why, you see in the draft, there's guys that go in the fourth that everybody has in the first. We're not in the rooms. Like we don't know half the stuff. Like we can only go off what we, sort of know, right? Like I think getting back to the ball enjoyer part of the equation here is, I think, the way to go. Like, come on, like we're talking about the tush push an hour ago. Like, just enjoying. Like, what are we gonna call this? What are we calling this new thing sweeping the league? And it's like, oh wow, like I think we should be like excited that like, there were a couple times where Musgrave was running in motion, like McDaniel was running Tyreek Hill. Like, there's a couple times throughout 5 weeks where he's doing that. Like that's sweet. Like I'm just like thinking about like Watson ended up doing that, right? Like all these possibilities that are really exciting about the offense, rather than like, because like I've been trying to like think about like posting a video and like, oh, what's wrong with the offense? Do you guys want me to sit here for 30 minutes on a video and just rip apart all these plays? Like, man, this guy dropped his pass, he stinks. Why can't we put everybody execute 11 players at one time? Look at all. There's like 40 plays on here where I'm like, from the games, I'm like, do people even should this be something that is going to be helpful like to everybody? Like, and I'm gonna look at this play and I'm like, I'm sure there's a coach, if a coach ever watched this, they'd be like, what is he even talking about? He doesn't know what this play is. What is this? Like, so like sometimes I'm just like, well, how about I just talk about like how good Sewell's doing this year, man? Like how awesome it is to watch Sewell just like continue to be like one of the biggest gems that Goody has found. Like it's just an awesome signing. Right.
Sewell.
Yeah. Oh, Russell.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sewell. Yeah. Nicknames, sort of thing. And it's like, how about Rudy Ford this year? Like, that's sick, right? Like, this is awesome. Like, we thought safety was gonna be a problem. Rudy Ford said, "Nah, I got you. We're good. Like, let me take over a little bit here," which is really sweet. Like after the game he had against Dallas and last year, and some of the games that he played, where he's like, "Yeah, I've kind of found my stride in this defense." That's really cool, right? Like, guess what? You're not gonna, in the Preston Smith stuff. It's like, yeah, okay, you can be mad about it, but it's kind of hilarious to watch when it has to happen, right? Like it's kind of like, oh wow, look, the offense is doing things that they should be doing, right? Like Green Bay's in a 3-4 defense that has 270-pound edges. There are 3-4 defenses that have 245-pound guys who are dropping the coverage. That's why they do that drill at the combine, right? They want to see these 245 guys, if they need to, drop into coverage. Our guys are bigger. They're designed to be 3-down players at the line of scrimmage, right? So sometimes, oh well, guess what? It happens. I'm sure Devontae gave Preston a little bit of crap about that play, and he enjoyed it. Like that should be fun, right? Like and the same thing with Jair. Like, do you think the offense went to him after he said that and was like, "How could you say that? You shouldn't say that in this locker room," and like sneer at him or something? It's like, no, let's have some fun. Let's be loose. If we're tight all the time, that's just lame. Like we're not gonna have fun out there playing a game. Like this is a game. We're having it. Like, let's just enjoy some ball. Like, even if you lose this week, okay, you know what? Maybe Rudy Ford has a one-handed pick off of Wilson. That's like one of the coolest things you ever see. Maybe Carlson's a 62-yarder on Sunday. Like those will be so much fun. And you know what? I get it. it's not fun when they stink. Not a lot of people, including myself, have ever experienced them being bad for a large period of time, right? Like I came into this world in the peak Favre years. Like that's just like I have never known like bad Packers football. It's going to happen at some point. But I hope we can like even just enjoying the game, look to other stuff like the tush push and like what McDaniel's doing. And like, wow, Schwartz has the Browns defense, like got people like just struggling to figure out what's going on in some games.
Crazy.
Look at how Stroud's playing. That's sick. Like, this is cool. Like, I'm sad that I wish Richardson was going to play this year because, man, that's fun to watch. Like, Witherspoon's fun to watch in Seattle. Like, there's so many cool things happening in the league where, you know, it's easy to say when people are like, if people are just in that zone of like just Packers football, I get it. Like, it's tougher. But like, just widen the scope a little bit. The league is just, it's so much fun, even if scoring is down. It's just a great time. It's awesome that we have this for 18 weeks in the fall and winter.
Jake, do you enjoy watching the 49ers play? Like just a random team?
Yeah. I've been waiting to drop a Brandon Ayuk might be the most underrated receiver in the entire league video because like, gosh, the guy he's got it. Like it is super fun. Like, I don't know how they're manufacturing stuff in San Francisco with the O-line they have.
Yeah.
When Trent Williams is down, I don't know how they do this.
Right.
Like they have guys who are just like you probably wouldn't even be able to guess who it is on the offensive line. Like, you know, the Dolphins had the no-name defense back in the day. This Niners team minus Trent Williams is the no-name offensive line. Like it's just wild that McCaffrey can do what he does. And they're like, it's not like McCaffrey's doing everything, right? They've got gaping holes for him. Like he's putting up 4 touchdown games. Like they're just insane. Like they don't have to throw to Kittle barely. Like Kittle's had one big game this year. And it's like, it's super fun where they go, oh man, like, you know, you're going to take this away. Okay. Just so you know, we have this guy we haven't thrown to yet. The series about to catch 3 touchdowns on you. Like this is you're wait till you see this. So yeah, I do enjoy it. Like it's a lot of fun. It is.
Is there, Jake, is there a team in the league that like you kind of just like can't enjoy? Because like for my dad, like he will never in his life be able to enjoy anything that the Patriots ever do unless it's like an embarrassing loss. And then Ryan has a thing with the Chiefs right now. He can't let go of the Chiefs, even though they're AFC. I can't watch the 49ers. Do you have a team that like sucks the joy out of football for you?
I mean, I think the Patriots offense is sucking the joy out of football for everybody right now. So I don't know if it's fair to go that direction. That's not very fair to them. You know, like, hey, Bill, get a receiver who can do something. That'd be nice. It'd be sick. And, that's the other thing. You know, the Packers 3rd round pick thing. If the Patriots draft a receiver.
Yeah,
they're not good, man. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. No, I mean, I think the Patriots were the closest probably. And then Tampa for about 3 years. There, I did not enjoy that at all.
So for me, like, that was just like partly a Tom Brady thing, but then also Tampa 100%. Signed Antonio Brown and Ndamukong Suh, and it's like, look, you got like my 3 least favorite players in the NFL on the same freaking team, of course, and then they do what they did to us. Of course, I'm going to hate them.
Yeah. That's where the fan part comes back in. It can never leave. If you really like have a grip on like being a fan of a team, like there's always going to be some team that just drive you out of your mind. And that's fine. Like it's going to happen. Like, you know, we're fanatics as much as we just want to shorten it to fans. We know we are. So yeah, there's going to be those games. As a kid, I loved the Drew Brees Saints. So when the Niners beat them in the playoffs a few times, I was not pleased with them, to put it lightly, right? Like that's, you know, so yeah. But I think as more time goes on and, you know, number 12 for Tampa Bay and New England retired, it feels nice to just kind of watch the league a little bit, not knowing that, like, you know, the Chiefs are the villains, but they don't bother me as much. Just because I kind of like, you know, 15 going down there chasing 12 a little bit. That's fun. Gets Boston fans a little bit on their nerves. I like it. But yeah, I'm trying to, I'm trying to, yeah. And like, I know some people are ticked at the Lions right now. I know they are. That's fair. Like it stinks that they've like figured it out a little bit. And I'm just sitting here thinking, wow, what if they drafted Gonzalez instead of Gibbs? yikes. Like, oh man, like the defense would have some things to say, right? Like
what if their GM was competent?
Yeah, what if their GM makes first round picks? Like that's insane. Like to think about their last three are
Running back,
their last three.
linebacker.
If you don't count Hutchinson, their last three are Jameson, Gibbs, and Jack Campbell. Like, hello, whoa, what are we doing here? But like, I think the Lions are cool because I think a lot of people wrote off Campbell when he said the bite and kneecap thing in the press conference. Is like, oh, what is this meathead doing here? He can't do anything. Like there's no way that they're gonna figure it out. And it's cool that like, Goff, a player who's getting traded off a Rams team that like, yeah, you're not good enough for us to get it done. It's cool to be like him being like, you know what? Yes, I am. And you know what? I'm going to show you. And, it's cool that Amon-Ra's like, yeah, I have all these guys, even though it's a little tired. Like I've got these guys who were picked in front of me. It's just cool to have players who have motivation.
I was gutted when that pick was not Amon-Ra.
Yeah. I thought it was. I was like, oh, that's the slot, right? This is it. Like it has to be.
And they took him. And I think I've never like Travis Etienne is like the only, and Trevor Lawrence. Those two guys are the only Clemson Tigers that I've liked in the draft in like 6 years. Like since Deshaun. It was Deshaun and then Etienne and Trevor. And I'm like, please, not Amari.
Yeah, it's cool that there's like a little shift going on a little bit. I know it's not from a Packers perspective. But you could like 5 years ago, if somebody goes, yeah, so the Jags and Lions are going to meet in the Super Bowl. They're like, okay, you're funny. That's funny. And it's like, well, if some things break a few ways, which you can never say never. It's like this is just a very fun time. I think
2017. I think you might have believed that because you had the Jaguars crazy season, and the Lions were like just in the process of hiring Matt Patricia.
That's right.
It's like, oh, dang. Wow. So you say this Matt Patricia hire is really going to work out, huh? Cool.
Sure.
It's so good.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. That's what's nice. And I was so close with the Browns until they did what they did. Like, it was cool. Like,
I grew up in Ohio, so I've always liked the Browns.
It was cool when Baker got them to like the final 8. And it's like, oh my gosh, what is happening?
Yeah.
The Browns are in the final 8 teams. I can't even believe what's going on right now. This makes no sense.
Easy.
A year and a half ago, they were opening Bud Light fridges because they won. This is nuts. I can't believe this. Like, yeah. There's just so much going on. That's really fun. But
talking about the 2017 Jags just reminded me of that clip where Corey Benke was going off about Blake Bortles. He was like comparing Justin Fields and Blake Bortles, and he couldn't remember Blake Bortles' names. He's like, watching Justin Fields, it reminds me of when the Jaguars were like really good, but they had that guy at quarterback who I was like, I couldn't believe he was in the NFL. What was his name? And Aaron Nagler is talking to him. He's like, talking about Blake Bortles, who like has been a Packer for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, hate that guy.
We almost got Bortles Foles. Almost. We were that close. We were that close.
Where's Foles right now? Because there's so many injured quarterbacks. Like he's got to be getting some snaps at this point.
The last time I remember, it was Indy.
I thought he was in Indy, but like,
I don't think
he's not playing. Like Richardson's out, and Nick Foles isn't playing.
He was last year, I think. I don't know where he is.
Is Brissett back in? No, Brissett's in
Washington,
isn't he?
Washington.
That's right, because DTR is in Cleveland. So who's playing for the Colts now?
I don't even know who their backup is besides Minshew. I know Minshew's just obviously the starter, but like,
yes, it's just Minshew.
Yeah. But yes, the main just enjoy ball, folks. Try to find the positives. Because I think there was
about the NFL draft is that it's always positive.
Yeah.
I mean, the community is the most negative, toxic community in the world because they hate everything in the world and everything you do is stupid. Yeah. But I mean, the concept of the draft is always positive because you're only adding to teams, you're only making people better. Plus, everybody's a superstar in the draft. When you're doing, every first round draft pick, that's one of the things that people will kill you for. If you talk about a first round pick and say, I don't think they're going to be very good. It's like you are the dumbest person in the history of the universe. Everybody knows he's going to be elite. Read a book, you moron. It's like, okay. I guess you've never seen the grass in your life, but But no, I mean that is one of the positives of the NFL draft. We're just getting better all the time. Like everybody's going to be elite. All the teams are going to be fixed. It's going to be wonderful.
It means hope.
Yep, exactly.
That's what it means.
I mean, the draft season is one of those times that like always has you convinced that like somebody's about to go from 0 to hero.
Yeah,
like and like if the draft finishes and you look at like the Ravens and you're like, what? They got all those. They got like 8 guys that I thought were going in the first 2.5 rounds, and you're just like, this is like the future of the NFL is this team right here. And then
the beauty of the offseason is everything is hopeful, but then reality hits you in the regular. You get football, which is great, but then reality kind of makes you miserable.
Yeah, it's like everybody has hope, and it's like it's still like but one team's winning, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's only one team hosting a trophy, man. Like this is, that's what's tough. It's tough.
I think, Ryan, I've told you like every year for the last like 4 years, like, yeah, you know what, your off-season podcasts are better than your in-season podcasts. And I think it's because like during the year, like football is so stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the off season, it's just like opportunity and possibility and like,
right.
Hey, like let's talk about how next year is going to be our greatest year.
Yeah.
Yep.
AJJ says Lazard signing with the Jets is going to get us a 4th round compensatory pick.
Nice. Excellent.
Gentlemen, we have sailed past 2 hours, so I don't know if we want to button this at some point, or I know JJ wants to milk another $1, but I'm about to fall asleep on the stream.
If JJ doesn't get $1,
me snore.
We're about to do a 2024 mock draft, so you better give him $1.
It's going down right now. I'm pulling up the simulator.
Do it.
With the first pick in the 2024 NFL draft, the Green Bay Packers select Blake Corum, running back, Michigan.
You took a running back in the first?
The Lions fans are like, what an idiot.
So who are the Bears taking, Jake, since we're talking about it?
The problem is like Fields gets hurt now. And like, now what? Like who's getting fired? Who's staying? Like, I have no idea. Could Fields succeed in Atlanta where they just run a lot? Maybe. Maybe they're trading him there. I would be very hard pressed not to take Williams and Harrison for fun.
It's not going to be Harrison.
It's not
going to be Harrison.
But it should be Williams and a tackle, to be honest.
Because I think Romo Odunze is going earlier in the draft than Marvin Harrison.
Odunze. Wait, are you that account that says Odunze is better than MHJ? I've seen that account.
No, it's
actually, I'm pretty sure it's one of his parents. I'm pretty sure it's one of his parents. But like, there is that account that's gone a little overboard. That quote tweets anything I say about Odunze and goes, "Did you know Odunze has 3 drops this year and MHJ has 5? Can you believe that?
What a loser!"
MHJ had 3 in just the Purdue game.
That's the one thing that's concerning about him. The catch technique is not great.
Yeah, he stinks.
Some bad drops.
Like, let him fall to the second round.
He's got some weird. He's got some weird stuff when it's up on the shoulder where he kind of like doesn't know what to do with his hands. It's kind of like, I'll just like catch like that or something. It's very weird. It's very weird. Nobody wants to hear this, by the way. They have turned this podcast off. They're like, what is this guy doing talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. catch technique on October 20th? What's going on?
All right. One last thing, and then we're going to
We're doing the mock draft, right?
Yes.
All right. So
better give him some money.
What?
Said you better give JJ some money.
Oh, I thought you said there was some money. I got really excited.
No, they better do it. Otherwise, we're gonna be talking about who
we act like they can't just click off. Like, you want to go to bed, then you better pay, or you're staying here with us all night.
Well, Jake and I can't see
all 7 rounds.
Count.
AJJ. So, yeah,
Ryan, you could just tell us that there's nobody left on the stream.
There's 0 people here, and I'm just not saying anything about it.
No, I'm refreshing on YouTube. I see who's here.
I see you.
How many people do we have, Jake, right now?
9. It looks like, at least from what.
Is there seriously 9? Because this says less, and I have Facebook.
Oh, maybe I didn't
YouTube.
refresh. Oh, it says 5. I see 5.
There you go. 5 is what we got.
Hey, Travis Medley dropping in Keon Coleman's comment.
So that might be 4 on YouTube then.
Let's go.
Or Facebook, I mean.
All right,
you
boys.
Talk Keon Coleman anytime, Travis.
Well, that was our one last thing, so we're getting out of here. All right. Follow us on Twitter at JJ Lahey @_Daddy. and at JKFNL Draft to stay up to date on all things Packers or ask us questions. Make sure you're subscribed to Packernet on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for listening. Until next time, go Pack, go.